Okay, fragment flipping again. Now some people might have seen my video smelling magnetic fields and not quite understood what it meant, and going, whatever, what a fucking idiot. Alright, so I'm going to try and explain it with a picture. Right, here's the picture. Alright, this is the one I'm smelling. We'll disregard this bit here for a start, and we'll concentrate on this here. Now if you get some iron filings and pour them onto a magnet, they'll just gather around the poles or gather across the magnet, yeah, like that. So you'll get a bunch of iron filings on one pole and a bunch of iron filings on the other pole if it's like that kind of magnet. So if you put this magnet underneath now, let's say a piece of gypsum like I use, and then put a piece of paper on top of the gypsum, and then sprinkle the iron filings onto that, instead of gathering around the poles like it does here, it still gathers a little bit, but if you sprinkle it nicely, and these bits aren't sprinklings by the way, if you sprinkle it lightly and bit by bit, you can build up a 3D pattern and see the actual direction, not only, let's say, left, right, you know, the 2D plane direction, you can actually see the 3D direction. So you get a 2D, 3D representation of the field lines. And then if you leave them in a room which has got no drafts in it at all for a long period of time, what actually happens is because the field lines are actually moving, it takes this very, very small powdered bits of iron filings and shoots them up into the air like this. Because they're not attracted to the poles no more, you've got some that are coming back down and some that are being shot back out, as in the magnetic field lines. And these iron filings get trapped on, because the iron filings aren't now gathered up around directly on the magnetic poles of the magnet, and you've got to get air. It's important to get a good air gap. You have to get the air gap exactly right, yeah. As long as you've got an air gap there, well, the gypsum helps. If you, I'd say around about from a very strong magnet. I'm using neodymium magnets, and you have to have a good air gap, because if you have it too close it just sticks to the paper and you don't get a 3D pattern. You have to have it a certain gap, otherwise you won't get this 3D pattern. To get that right as well. Once you're displaying a 3D pattern like that, and you can actually see the iron filings building up in lines, so you've got the ones in the centre building up in vertical lines, and as they spread out from the centre they actually look like they're laying down the paper. Once you get a pattern, leave it for a few hours, go back in, and you'll be able to smell the iron filings. It's not a very good idea to smell iron filings, because you know you're getting iron filings inside your lungs. But the fact of the matter is, you can stick your nose in the centre here, and you can't smell anything. But you can move it over one of the poles, and you can start smelling. Yeah, and the same vice versa. Go over that one, and you come out to the outside. You can't smell it here, but you can smell it here. You can smell it all in here. You can't smell it here, and you have to be very. But when you're sticking your nose in, you can't just go wah, and whap it in. You just like edge your nose into the field. I'm in. I'm out, and you can actually gauge where it is, and that's what I was talking about with sniffing magnetic field lines. So again, there's the picture. You've got the poles. You've got the built-up 3D images here. You've got the shooting particles, which are iron filing particles, which are following the field lines in the 3D space up here. And you can smell here and smell nothing, but you can bring your nose in gently and you can just feel the edge of it, and you can put your nose right into it if you want to go like, and get a big lungful if you want to, it's up to you. But that's sniffing magnetic field lines to prove to you all. Just try the experiment what I've just explained to you, just try it. If you don't try it, you can't take the piss. And once you have tried it, then you'll go, oh, he was telling the truth. Why didn't I know that? Well, I knew this when I was very young. Very young. I ain't ever been told it. I just noticed it. Me grandma and granddad always used to have a little pot of iron filings. So it was like an old needle, like a little plastic pot. It was a glass pot actually with a screw top on it. like it looked like about a lipstick kind of container size. So it looked like it was that size, but it was see-through, and they always contained iron filings in it. And then we had magnets laying around, and they'd get the magnet underneath the piece of paper. So they get the piece of paper, and then they'd hold a magnet underneath it like that. They'd put a magnet in the hand and put the paper on top of the hand, and then they'd sprinkle the iron filings over the paper, and then they'd lift the paper off and put the paper on the table for you to look at. They wouldn't let you see it before they'd put it onto the on the table. They'd just sprinkle on the table, and then they'd put it on the table. And there you go. That's what a magnetic field looks like. You go, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Then I thought to myself, wait on a second. When you get a magnet, usually it gathers around the magnet. But when you put it on the paper, it doesn't. It spreads out into this lovely little field pattern. So if it's spreading out on the paper, maybe it's spreading out in 3D space as well. That's my grandma and granddad. It's just spread out in 3D space as well. Oh, no, it just spreads out on the paper like that. It just sticks to the paper. Oh, I don't believe that. I didn't say I don't believe it. I thought to myself, I don't believe them. I don't believe them. So I was on there, and they let me play around with them, like, yeah. So I was playing around with it one day, and I'd set it up, like I said, with a block of paper. Underneath the block of paper, I'd put a stand here and a stand here. I'd put the magnet underneath, and you got an air gap. I got the iron filings, I sprinkled them on top and got the line like that, yeah. And I literally thought I could see the filings going over like this. I could see them. I was that young then, my eyesight was that good, I could see the iron filings going across. Fucking amazing, absolutely fucking amazing what I could see then. And I saw that when I was a kid, and I thought, well, you know, now I can see that. Didn't think much else of it, and you just think about it every now and again, and you learn a bit more, and you think field lines like that, because I could see them jumping from side to side as well, like this. It's fucking madness going on. It's like, ah! I could see that. Obviously my grandma and granddad were a bit older, and they hadn't been taught that, and they couldn't see it, but I certainly could. I certainly could. Didn't say anything, like I say, I didn't say anything, but I just wanted to do that experiment. I put it online. I put a video representation of it online because I couldn't be bothered to take the camera down when I was a bit drunk, and I couldn't be bothered to take the camera down. I just wanted to make sure that it was still working. It wasn't just a figment of my imagination, and it isn't just a figment of my imagination. So, believe me, over Unity, I've got an over Unity engine. Go and try that sniffing experiment, and come back and tell me that works. Then go and try the over Unity experiment, then come back and tell me that works, and then fuck off, because I've had enough of talking to dunce, useless twats. I'm not professing that I know everything, because I don't know everything. But what I am professing is that what I've seen and what I've done and what I know is what I know and I've seen and I've done. Some things that have happened in front of my eyes, I don't know what they are. I can't explain them. I saw land lights one time. What are land lights, you say? Well, some people think they're UFOs. It's like globes of, well, plasma. I've read about them now. It's globes of plasma floating above the surface of the Earth. I've seen them. The first time I saw them, I didn't say anything. The second time I saw them, I was with somebody. Her name's Nina Horton, and she saw them with me. Whether she wants to admit to it or not, I don't know. Like, yeah, well, it's up to her. Like, yeah, we're up a dark lane getting stoned one night in my car. Oh, look at those! She goes, oh yeah, what are they? And we see these lights flying over each other. They're land lights. I've seen them. If I'd have seen them with somebody else, I wouldn't have said nothing. But because I know I saw them with someone else, she wants to act crazy and say she didn't see them, she can act crazy and say she didn't see them, but we saw them. I've seen them twice. Land lights, they exist. Over Unity, it's possible. I've seen it, it exists. Over Unity works. I'm afraid it does.